In this video, we are going to look at some test examples so I can give you more detailed strategies on how to approach this task. Let's look at some graphs. So in the graph that you can see, there is an analysis of the weekly UK market share for the visits to the free social networking sites between March 2007 and March 2008. So the first thing, as you know, summarize the information by selecting and describing the main characteristics and have some comparison when relevant. As you can see from the graph, it illustrates the proportion of visits. Here remember to use some synonyms, so do not repeat word visits all the time. And also try to give the specific time frame. Instead of using general words like weekly basis, try to give the precise date when you do the analysis. Then you can proceed to comment and select the main features, such as we can clearly see that Facebook has a market share that has increased dramatically, and so you can apply the vocabulary we were talking about in the previous videos. And also at the end, you do not have to draw conclusion. There is no conclusion in the writing task 1, because as we said, it's an explanation, it's not an argument, so we just keep analyzing the data until we reach the maximum of the words. And you can analyze the data a little more in detail in the last few sentences. You can also put in contrast the various websites. So for example, MySpace shares has plumped. Here you can find the complete text of the test example, and I have highlighted all the vocabulary of interest and some synonyms. As you know, the task 1 is quite direct and it's like a formula you need to apply. You have a brief introduction and then you go into the comparison and analysis of the data. One thing to remember is never to use the word "the" in front of any percentage. So you would just say 30%, 50% instead of the 30%, the 50%. This is a mistake that sometimes students do. Here is another example. So in this graph, we can see a number of car trips in the city center made by residents and non-residents over a 10-year period. And you can start by commenting the general characteristics. And then what do you notice? Well, we can notice that at the beginning of 2000, the parking meters were introduced in the city center. These effects had a general impact on the graph because we have non-residents traffic that has decreased, but only slightly. At the end of 2002, the number of trips by residents did not change significantly, but trips by non-residents rose to the 1999 levels. After making this observation, you realize it had a fundamental impact on the changes recorded by the graph, and that actually justifies this change in trend, because you have to say that the car journeys in the center has decreased due to the introduction of the parking meters. And so you can make a bit of consideration, and also you can say that record at this point in Westgate Street and Park Lane have become pedestrianized, and this has resulted in a drastic drop in the resident traffic. So as you can see, you just comment also on the causes and consequences if you have this information available, and this will again shows that you have all the skills to analyze the data, compare them, and looking for causes and effects. And in a way you will guide the examinators inside the graph, and he or she can follow its development from the start to the end. As we said, the examiner should be able to draw the graph without seeing it, just by reading your text. Here you can find the complete text that you can consult anytime, and I have highlighted the terms of interest that you must use, and also you can see many examples. And as you can see, with all these examples that we are giving you, by reading them you'll notice how it's really the task 1 formula, it's repetitive, and most of the time the structure is very similar. Here is an example of a composite graph. So we have two graphs They will have to put in correlation with each other, with the data, and comment and compare. From some point of view, this might be easier because it's quite evident what are the differences between the graph, and it's easier to make a comparison. As we said, when practicing for the IELTS writing, it's very important to get a feedback. So now we have just shared one of the various text examples that you can start writing as well and get some feedback from a teacher or from a person you know that comes from the UK, and so they really can help you with your English. These people ask specifically a feedback on your weaknesses and strengths, so you become every day more aware on what you need to work on, and you can focus your study and your practice on those weaknesses. I hope to see you very soon in our last video.